Good morning, YouTube. Hi, I'm Melanie Hines. I'm the Master of Happiness. I'm going to be talking about prosperity, and specifically, I'm going to be talking about this book, Working with the Law. This is the first in a series. I just promised that I would do a series on this. I'm going to go by each chapter and do a short discussion on it. And so I am going to start with the law of supply. The reason is because of the circumstances we're living in right now. Right now, as of the taping of this, as of the recording of this, I'm in my home office. I'm not a YouTuber professionally. I do have a YouTube channel to inspire and encourage other people to have hope, especially now. But I've had this since since February of 2019. And I've loaded probably over 200 videos by now. So you can go down and search through them. You can figure out who I am, because I like to know who I'm listening to and what their opinions are. So you can just play around on my channel. So with that said, I'm going to talk about the law of supply. Now, I'm a Christian. You'll find that if you reach it. But I'm not going to ever try to convince you to believe what I believe. But I am boldly a Christ follower, the risen Christ, right? I believe he's risen. He appeared to me himself February 22nd, actually, of 2000 when I was driving to work. Average every day. So I know what I speak of. But that is not the purpose of my channel. I'm not a minister. There's plenty of those out there. I don't want to say they're a dime a dozen, but I don't know. You know for yourself. I'm a business person. I run a business where I teach people how to make extra income, especially now. So if you're interested in making extra income, you can always, if you want to find out more, you can contact me. I'll send you some information. So the law of supply, it's based in spiritual principles. This guy, Dr. Raymond Hallowell, wrote this book. It was first published in 1964, which is interesting, the year before I was born. I'm 54, I'll be 55 in September. So it was copyrighted in 1964, which I think is very interesting. Very interesting. And it's called Working with the Law by Dr. Raymond Hallowell. He's a doctor. Doctor of what? He was a scientist, I think. Hold on. Well, I'll just read the back of this book. It says, science has defined a variety of natural laws that explain the physical world and how it changes. One such law states that for every action, there is a reaction, and that for every motion, there is a corresponding countermotion. Whether it's visible to the human eye or not, one thing is certain: movement and change will occur as a result of having studied these principles. Author Raymond Hallowell not only understood the universal physical applications, as he understood the spiritual and mental applications as well. By using this law on a spiritual and mental level, Hallowell noted that a specific thought could create a desired reaction in his personal and professional life through continual and dedicated practice. As he came to realize the expanded potential of this powerful law, he eventually recognized the ultimate source of the dramatic results, being God, universe, whatever you want to call it, divine intelligence. I'm a very spiritual person, but I am a Christian, like I said. But don't let that term fool you, because I myself don't like what a lot of people have done with it. So I call myself a Christ follower for that reason. There are countless laws that impact our daily lives and actions, but there are other laws just waiting to be discovered and put to work from within. Laws that anyone can use to live a limitless and prosperous life. I'm going to be teaching how to live a limitless and prosperous life. Laws that anyone can use to live a limitless and after many printings, the lessons in working with the law are still being taught in numerous workshops around the country and continue to provide the reader with a new opportunity to take action and rethink their strategy for success by simply working with the law. So I'm going to start with the law of supply. Are you ready? At the beginning, for those of us who are spiritual, he uses a verse from Matthew 7:7 that says, ask and it shall be given, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. Ask, seek, knock is what you want to write down if you're taking notes. Ask, seek, knock. So what does that mean? As Jesus says, What things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. So what are you desiring? What are you praying for? Even if you're not praying, what are you desiring? And do you believe you're going to receive them? Because you have to believe. You have to believe that there's more going on than meets the eye. I noticed that years ago, probably 17 years ago now, because I realized that as I focused on my goals, which at the time were becoming an ambassador in the company I was with at the time, my previous company, where I ended up being very successful. I've earned as much as $10,000 cash profit in a month, which is, I think it's equivalent to like a $5 million asset, or at least it used to be. Because some people do not see an abundance around them and do not enjoy plenty is evidence that they do not understand or do not apply the law. Guys, if you're not currently applying this law of supply, you just don't understand it. And anybody can learn new things. Okay? When you learn to see with your mind's eye, they will realize different. There is a phase of the law known as demand and supply. Did you ever study economics? I did in college. There's laws of supply and demand. When there was a demand for the need of electric power, the supply was forthcoming. When there's a demand for an efficient automobile, Ford, they developed a new automobile. When people demanded a means of traveling with more speed, greater comfort, and luxury, he thought of building a horseless carriage. Then he worked on the plan, developed it, and slowly educated the public to accept the modern mode of transportation. You see, whenever man has needed a certain thing in life, an idea has first been given to him in the mind, and he was inspired to develop the idea and then materialize it by converting a piece of mud or metal into a usable form. Why did people live so long content with a horse and carriage and not enjoy the automobile? Because they could not imagine it. Their minds were not trained to demand such a thing. Was the supply available to build such a thing? There was always been, since the beginning. Thus, it was not God's fault that the auto was so late in coming to man's need. Where there is no demand, there will be no evidence of supply. I mean, I'm just trying to open up your mind to accept that unless you put a demand on this, whatever formless substance you want to call it, divine law, universal spirit, or God, right? I believe the law is directly related to God. I think it takes biblical principles and makes them real and tangible, or at least it did for me. So the thing we dare not do, let me jump to this. The law is not at fault because the man was poor and had to work so hard to earn a living. Man will ever be poor as long as he demands of life a meager living and sees in it a struggle, toil, hardship, and limitation. Guys, there's a lot of people seeing life as just that today. Now, I am going to go against the grain, which is why you're probably watching, and I want you to like and subscribe because I'm going to continue talking about prosperity and how you can be successful no matter what the downturn. You don't have to join my business. You can apply these principles in whatever it is you choose to do. You do not have to choose to do what I have chosen as my profession. The thing we dare not do is fret and worry about supply. Guys, what have you been focusing on? Have you been worrying about your supply? There is supply all around us. This is why I shortcut people and say, focus on abundance. How do you focus on the blessings? How do you focus on the abundance? I have videos titled those titles. You can go down and look at them. The blessings is probably more for the Christian audience or the ones who believe like I believe in a God, right? But if you don't, it's okay. These laws still work. Whether you believe in them or not, they work. It's just a matter of, are they working for you or against you? So if you fret and worry about a lack, you will experience lack. If you believe in abundant supply, you will see the supply. I have prospered in this downturn. Yes, this current last 3 month downturn, I have prospered. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. I'm going to talk, there's more. This is only one. This is just the law of supply. I'm going to do a part 2 so I can finish this. Because I get excited about this, can you tell? I get excited about teaching people how they can prosper, no matter what the economy out there. Have fun. And I hope you'll like and subscribe and share this with people you know and love who need to hear this. Yes, it's a different type of thinking than what the world would have you think. So that's why you need to pay attention now. Talk to you on the next one.